Regardless of the product, warehouses are held to the same standard guidelines outlined by Good Manufacturing Practices, or GMP for short. As an integral part of these guidelines, warehouse mapping, or validation studies, must be performed to ensure that the space is maintaining safe temperature and humidity levels. An inadequate storage environment could mean spoiled food, unsafe medicines, or other health hazardous results. Data loggers play a crucial role in warehouse mapping. They provide a complete overview of the storage environment that can easily be analyzed to determine if the warehouse is maintaining safe conditions for the stored product. To comply with GMP, we'll break down the following 8 steps. 1. Create a validation plan. 2. Identify areas of risk and determine monitoring areas. 3. Create a detailed data monitoring protocol. 4. Select the appropriate equipment. 5. Deploy data loggers. 6. Conduct the test and review the results. 7. Make modifications as necessary. And 8. Implement regular testing. The first step is to create a validation plan. The validation plan is the master reference document for upholding GMP standards. This is the first thing regulators will ask for to evaluate a company's methods. Be sure to address the following topics in your plan. Staff roles, validation activities and processes, equipment used, a validation schedule, a response plan for when thresholds are breached, and a protocol for when conditions change or events occur that result in the need for revalidation or adjustment. The next step is to identify areas of risk and determine the monitoring areas. Areas of risk should be closely monitored to ensure proper conditions are maintained. One thing to keep in mind is the size of the warehouse. Larger warehouses carry the risk of greater temperature variation throughout the space, while smaller warehouses tend to heat up more rapidly. A larger space will also have a higher HVAC demand. Another risk factor would be anything that could create a pocket of warm or cold air, such as windows, air conditioners, space heaters, and fans. Since heat rises and cold air falls, temperatures may differ from floor to ceiling, meaning loggers should be placed at both the highest and lowest positioned product storage spaces. High traffic areas may also pose a risk. Doors and loading docks that are consistently opened will expose the monitoring area to different uncontrolled conditions. Data loggers should be placed at high traffic areas to monitor any fluctuation. The third step is to create a detailed data monitoring protocol. Some questions you should answer in this protocol are: what parameters do you need to measure? How many data loggers do you need of each type? How fast should the reading interval be? How long will the mapping study run for? What is the acceptable range of variation in each measured parameter? To complete this step, a diagram of the facility should be created, highlighting where data loggers will be deployed. Now that all plans are laid out, it's time to move on to the fourth step, selecting the appropriate equipment. Some specifications to look for in a data logger are: high accuracy readings, a configurable reading rate, a fast response time, maintenance and calibration requirements, user-defined threshold alarms and notifications, and an easy-to-use software for analyzing data. If help is needed selecting the right devices for your monitoring environment, our team at MadgeTech is experienced with the variables of mapping studies and is even available for on-site assessments or installation. Next, deploy the data loggers according to the diagram outlined in the protocol. As a basis, the warehouse can be divided into several sections and layers, with loggers placed in each one. If the product is being stored on shelves, the data logger should be placed in the middle of the shelves throughout each layer to provide an accurate representation of what the product is experiencing. It's now time to conduct the first test and review the results. The important information collected from the test will include the date and time of the study conducted, calibration information of all equipment, the reading rate used, minimum, maximum, and average statistics for each channel, timestamps for each reading from each logger, and a graph display of all data recorded during the test. You should also provide a space for notes and signatures on this test results document. After reviewing the data, you might find that some monitoring zones are breaching the threshold of desired readings. This means modifications must be made. Some common adjustments are moving racks that are too close to risk factors, adjusting HVAC settings or vent locations, adding fans to increase ventilation in certain areas, rearranging shelves to eliminate obstruction to airflow, addressing traffic to reduce opening and closing of doors in temperature-sensitive areas, or blocking sunlight that might be causing a hot zone. Each modification made should be documented in the protocol. After the initial test is complete and any necessary adjustments have been made, begin the implementation of a regular study schedule that has been outlined in the protocol document. From this point forward, studies should meet all requirements or be assessed for further modification.